So Jordan, start with Saturday, and both good and bad. Obviously, run defense, especially the first three quarters, was very good. Start with that, and then problems in the pass defense. So,
well, I thought, the only disappointing thing for me was I thought, there in the third we let the circumstances affect how we finished. Because if I look at it up to that point, quite honestly, we played some of the best defense we played all year against a good opponent. We had the one. We had the one in the first half. And really Anthony just he tried to guess, misplayed the route, and a good player, good team will make you pay. But other than that, it was, and we sold out to stop the run with what we were trying to do. But we had some guys that. And some as a unit we played. We did some really good things, and I thought we let the things that right at the fourth down. That was really the one. We let some circumstances just affect how we finished the game. So that was disappointing, but it was way more good than bad.
So this week. Similar, it's a different offense, but how do you try to defend Arizona?
Well, where you just play to their strengths and start there. Know what you have to do and work on doing that, and find some different ways to give yourself an advantage, and see what as we had adjusted through the game last week, kind of saw where that game was going. Then off of that, there's some good things to look at, but there's some things that you're like, all right, we can't do that. So stay away from those, get better at what we're trying to do. We know what the challenges are in this offense. We know who the challenges are in this offense. So you got to go play to that.
Obviously, wide receivers, issue number one. What are the unique things he brings, and what are the problems he creates?
Well, I think that when you watch him play, I think that he plays the position of receiver at an elite level, and it's all the little things. It's route running, it's coming back to the ball, it's catching the ball, it's body control, it's using his body depending on the route. Those are the big differences I see. He's as good as anybody in the country, as good as anybody will see. You're not just going to take one guy like that out of the game. You do the best you can, because there's other talented players as well. With the quarterback, the other receiver, number 5, running back catches the ball well out of the backfield. Tight end is essentially a big receiver type body. So there's issues more than just him, but he plays the position as good as anybody that we've seen.
It's no secret you just can't play straight man against him. That goes without saying, right?
No, you're not gonna wholesale and live in that.
Right.
Some people have, but we're not.
After the game, Hyman was asked about the long touchdown, and he said that they saw a chance to go tempo, and that Williams threw a strike. I don't know. Is that something that popped up there? I figured I'd ask you instead of take his word on that one.
Say that again. I just didn't hear.
Kansas State coach said in their long touchdown, they saw a spot to go tempo, and Williams threw a strike.
Mm-hmm.
He said that, not you. I was going to see it. Did you see something there where they went fast and stopped opening?
Yeah, they go fast, and obviously they're trying to do something very, very simple. All right, and we go into the game and pick and chose our spots where we thought the quarterback could throw the ball to beat you. And obviously you're selling out to stop the run, and there's certain throws that you say, all right, when we're doing that, and you're taking other part. When you do that, you take other pieces away, and you just say, hey, these are the throws he can make. These are the ones we have not seen him make, and quite honestly, made them. Now we could have played that route better. What they had done in that formation was something that we guessed at and we guessed wrong. And or Anthony played the route. He guessed what we had worked, and so and come to the sideline and very simply said, Coach, that was on me. And he hadn't done that all year, and that was a mistake. But anytime you go tempo, you're limited in what you're going to give them to do. So that's part of it. It's good. It's a really good throw by that kid. Good catch. You go on to the next play.
What do you think are some of the keys for the future in trying to cut down on third down, fourth down conversions? Neil had mentioned kind of the intermediate passes. Is there anything else that you see, or is that kind of the focus?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always a focus. And probably, I said this last week, the biggest focus is trying your best to stay out of those because those are hard with some of the things and how we're built and some of the things we're trying to do. You gotta try to stay out of those, and then you gotta try to adjust what you're doing coverage-wise to fit some of those without, sometimes without playing man coverage, because again, it's just like stopping the run. You're trying to undress other parts, and so you got to kind of figure out where those are, and that was a good way to go back and look at it and come up with some answers for doing just that.
Really physical game. How did your kids come out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think fine. You're going to be sore after a game like that, and an opponent like that, and what they're trying to do. But I mean, I think we're fine.
He was limited, gave you what he could, but hopefully he's better this week. But without him, what your defensive front do? You stopped the run, so did some things well.
Yeah, I mean, it's TJ's he's a spark plug. He gives you a little something in both, run game and obviously the pass rush. And you just look at his numbers and look at his grades and what he's been able to do, and not having that definitely didn't help. But we had some other guys, step up, and we never got to him, but we did affect him some. It's just when you're emptying your backfield, how much effect are you really, going to have consistently? Like if they're 5 out in the backfield and the ball's gone in 2.2, 2.3 seconds, is not a lot you can do without just saying, hey, we're going to bring everybody, which, that wasn't what our plan was. So.
How would you compare Arizona? Who opponents that we think of that come to mind when you think of them? Obviously, they're a lot different than Kansas State. The way that, what would you say style-wise? Who would you compare them to?
On our schedule, I'd probably. I don't know. They're a lot different than anybody we've played. Just the style of offense. I mean, you get a lot of the same concepts that are redundant no matter who you play. Right. When you're throwing the ball, that kind of show up, but how they get to it is we haven't really played somebody like that.
Challenges does McMillan present through his size, speed, route running ability? It seems like he's got.
There you go. You nailed them all. That's exactly what it is: size, speed. Like I said, the thing that sticks out to me is playing the position of receiver, and it's all the thing. Everybody thinks size and speed when you think about an elite receiver, and I don't necessarily think those are. You watch it, body control, how they use their body, the route running, when the route breaks down or the pocket breaks down, coming back, working, helping his quarterback. Those are things that elite receivers do. And the rest of those things, yeah, they're going to have. Some of them have size, some of them don't. Some of them have elite speed, some of them don't. But actually playing the position, just the fundamentals of playing receiver, I think he does as good as anybody I've seen in a while.
What do you see from the running game? I know Conley statistically is their guy, and he's got 6 rushing touchdowns. What do you see from them when they run?
I think they are what they are. They just do what they do, and they're not very. It's not a complex run game scheme, but I think they're creative with how they get to it, with how they set up different things with it, and how they get him the ball, not only hand it to him but out of the backfield. I mean, he catches the ball well.
Do they throw to run or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably say that. I mean, very similar.
Erico brought to the defense since he's been here?
Reed is, I mean, he's a physical kid, obviously, but just how he plays, his effort, his toughness. He's been a really nice addition for us. Just gives us kind of an edge, you know, when he's in there, especially in some of those bigger sets. You know, we can put him in multiple positions with us in the middle. You saw him on the edge the other night some, giving us some pressure against some of those bigger sets, which he's really, really good at. Put some pressure on the edge of the offense, which we need in a game like that when you're wholesaling to stop the run. So he's done a nice job.
Defense, you guys have tried a lot of different things schematically. Is there much left to try, or players just got to do what they do better?
You just got to get better. You got to, you know, I mean, there's only so many schemes that you can do, and you got to try to figure out a way within the structure of your defense to help them in some situations, and then at the end of the day, when your number's called and the play's there, we got to make them. And there were some there the other night, and we got to get more hands and affect more balls that are in the air. And so, you know, we just got to get better. Move on, correct it, move on the next day. That's all you can do.
Fagan played a lot. I don't really remember much about him, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. What did you see out of him on that side of the field playing a lot of snaps in this? Fagan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just I didn't hear much about him, which is fine, I guess, for a corner.
No.
Probably the most he's played. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and again, I've said this the whole year. You know, guys that are third and fourth year guys, and you know, playing a lot is one thing, playing a lot together is another thing. I think, you know, Dantes is a kid that is. I mean, he has some speed. He's a bigger, stronger kid than you think, and he's able to use that well. You know, kind of bodying some receivers up, but I thought he played well.
In week 8, who would you say is your most consistent player through this time of year? Would Trotter be one of those guys you mentioned?
I mean, Trotter's done a nice job. Some of the things from the other night underneath, like the passing game and things, we can clean up. You know, Trotter's always, and he's been really consistent. And you know, I think sometimes he's trying really hard to make a play, and that can get you in some tough situations when somebody's emptying you out like that. And but I think for Torma, I mean, yeah, that's a somewhere in day 1, day 2 draft pick center. The other night, and he did a phenomenal job, and has consistently in every game done things in the middle of our defense that has really been the success of our rush defense. That he's been one of the main reasons why.
Is that something you had expected out of him from the start, or is there even a little bit of hey, it's a little bit surprise?
No, I mean, I think that you know, if I go back to last year, and here's a young man who was in a system that quite honestly really didn't fit his skill set and wasn't highly recruited out of the portal, and we didn't, which was fine because we were going to ask him to do things that fit more what he could do with his body type, his strength, and his athletic ability. And so really last year is the same. It's like, don't confuse experience with experience together. So you're in kind of new system, you're doing new things, even though you played a lot of defensive line in your college career, you're doing something different. And then now in the second year, you really start to see, you know, him take it and kind of, you know, be this difference maker at nose guard, which he's done. So it's really not a surprise. We've seen it a lot through the last year and a half, particularly at practice, watch him grow, watch him make the position his own, and then watch what he's able to do against some really, really good interior offensive linemen has been fun to watch. But no, it hasn't been a surprise.
Is there any sense of, because the run defense, et cetera, there are different parts of the pass rush even the last several weeks have actually been playing well. Are there any sense with any of the players, any conversations, like if we're not getting it done pass defense-wise, we even need more? Like Sean Martin played well, but there were some opportunities that were almost sacks, and then Johnson got away and then was able to connect on something. Do you need more from certain parts that are even playing well when you're down on a fast?
No, I mean, you continue to find ways to get them in positions to affect the quarterback. And that's, whether that is just continuing your fundamentals of pass rush, I mean, that one with Sean, I mean, that's a 4th and 5. It's an unbelievable ball get off, unbelievable rush. I mean, like, the guy gets away, but, there's a lot that you can diagnose with that play if you go back and you really watch it. But, I mean, you're not gonna come up with all of these, exotic pass rush schemes. Those guys can do. Sean's an example. You use that, like, he's a power guy, he's a long guy, and you just try to find ways to get them, whether that's 3-man rush, 4-man rush, whatever it is, get them lined up in the wherever you need them. My point is those are the only changes you're going to make. You may change your fronts, you may do different things, but you're not going to wholesale go out and just, hey, we're going to become the 0 blitz team. You're not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, they've done some good things, and we'll continue to get them in ways that help us out. And that's one thing that has got to help us in pass defense is the pass rush. It's like, and that's easy to say, and then you have an opponent like the other night, like they're emptying you out and the ball's gone. How much, what I'm saying? Like, and there are tons of ways. Like, everybody always thinks a sack or when he's flushing the quarterback are the ways to affect him. And there's all kinds of ways to affect him. We got to, one of the things we can get better at is getting our hands up. Batting more, recognizing, pass sets, quick games when somebody's doing that to you. There's a lot of different ways to affect it.
What's the next step for him? What to get him to the next level? What's he going to do? Well, not next level, but next level of play.
He don't have to do anything other than what he's done. Keep playing the way he's playing. And that's the good thing about having a guy in there like that is now people have to just play in the way he's playing. They got to know where he's at. Okay. And so if you can get that, especially that position, you can create opportunities elsewhere, particularly in the run game. But Torma, surprisingly, again, if you go back and watch really closely, he's had some good rushes, just because he's so powerful.
So you're going to start seeing more double teams on him, probably.
I would assume so.
Okay, anything else for Coach? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.